inch, I want last knob, smash with the elbow, cracking the glass jaw. You better knuckle up. Dream crusher, coming out swinging, open you up, yeah, your luck is up. Cover up, I ain't nothing to mess with. Hear them scream, oh no, cause I'm blessed, kid.
Happy Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed Nate the Effin' Great, and you are listening to The Game Changer live here on Spreaker.com. And guys, this is not the only place you can listen to us, because we are also available on Podbean.com, on Podomatic.com, as well as on SoundCloud, and of course, Mr. NTG1990 on YouTube. What a weekend it's been, and I have to start off by first saying that not only am I the host of The Game Changer, I am still your CWP champion, and also the new Elite Ringside Network champion. Oh, I called it a couple weeks ago, and I made it a reality. Clean sweep on the predictions for Survivor Series. It feels good to be me. I just feel so happy. And honestly, you guys, the CWP title is a little bit of a stretch. So instead, I'm going to be renaming it, rebranding it. It is going to be known as the Game Changer Championship. So that is indeed what's going to be going down. And of course, I have my next title defense at the Clash of the Champions, defending the Game Changer title against the winner of the Unique Opportunity Predictions Battle, that being Lola Bean. So this is going to be very interesting, because here's the thing about this. Lola Bean has this great opportunity, but since it's a unique opportunity, there's a catch. Now, for every right answer he gets, he will gain a point. For every wrong answer he gets, he has subtracted a point. Now, for me, I don't lose anything if I get anything wrong, so does it seem like a bit of an advantage more towards me? Well, yeah, but when it's a unique opportunity, this is what happens. You get some benefits, but you also have to deal with the catch. So, best of luck to you, Lola Bean. It's going to be a very interesting night for you. All right, so I've talked enough about myself. Let us talk about this past weekend. NXT TakeOver War Games, as well as Survivor Series. We're just going to go right into it. The starting matchup of NXT TakeOver War Games, Lars Sullivan taking on Cassius Ohno. This was actually a pretty good starter matchup, although I think it probably fit more a little bit later on in the card, so that way fans can kind of cool off and kind of rest their voices going into the main event. But still, I'm not going to complain too much, because it was still a pretty good matchup. These two guys, just big and massive, and I am always impressed with Cassius Ohno. He has made me a fan of his. I am loving it. The fact of the matter that this guy can do flips and stuff for a guy of his stature. He definitely gained a lot of poundage when he went on the independent scene, but honestly, you can tell he still hasn't missed a single step. Lars Sullivan, he's kind of one of those guys that I look at and think, well, he's kind of more like the Braun Strowman of NXT, so I'm not really fully on board with him. But honestly, again, guys, great matchup to start off. Cassius Ohno went to try and finish off Lars, but Lars caught him with his fatal accident finisher for the 1-2-3. Lars Sullivan picks up the victory. Again, pretty good matchup. If I had to rate it, I would probably give this about a 2.5 stars out of 5. It's a pretty average matchup. Nothing too special. Nothing really too exciting about this. I mean, it's a good matchup for Cassius Ohno. Lars, I think the only reason why it was probably good was because Cassius Ohno was in it. Let's face it. Chris Hero for life, baby. Alright, so second matchup on the card was the Velveteen Dream taking on Aleister Black. In all honesty, guys, this was my pick for match of the night. Reason being, well, the story build-up was absolutely tremendous. This matchup itself was absolutely amazing. Velveteen Dream had an attire that basically probably show a little bit of homage to the ravishing Rick Rude, but adding a little bit of a twist to it where he had his face on one side of his pants, and then he had Aleister Black on another side. And this is all just for the sake of Velveteen Dream saying, say my name. Aleister Black, just being the rebel and the badass that he is, just really wanted to shut this guy up. The match itself was just tremendous. Both these guys got tied up in ropes. They exchanged plenty of offense. This was just a well-balanced matchup, and honestly, these guys tore the house down. I was just absolutely amazed at how well these guys worked the match. It was better than I could ever give it credit for. I kind of looked at it and I'm like, I'm not too into the Velveteen Dream. Aleister Black is amazing, so maybe he'll probably carry him. No, Velveteen Dream definitely held his own in this matchup. I was absolutely amazed by that. This was, in my opinion, like I said, match of the night. The end happened where we saw Velveteen Dream getting hit by the Black Mass by Aleister Black for the 1-2-3. Aleister Black picks up the victory, and then he gives his kudos to Velveteen Dream and also says his name after the matchup. And of course, everybody's kind of like in shock. It's like, oh wow, this is great. And honestly, I would love to see another matchup between Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black. But in all honesty, I would also love to see these guys team up. I think that'd be amazing. It would be kind of like a pairing of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels, or Austin and Dude Love. Just a very odd pairing, but it seems like they could work very well in the ring together. But we'll see what the future holds for these two guys. It's just going to be really amazing to see what they do. Like I said, build-up was great, matchup was amazing, and I have no complaints about it whatsoever. Out of all these, this I give it about a 4.5 out of 5 stars. This was almost like a near perfect matchup. Like I said, it was just absolutely amazing. And the reason why I will put it at this is because, well, I'll explain a little bit more when I talk about the War Games matchup itself. Next matchup on the card is the Fatal 4-Way matchup for the vacant NXT Women's Championship. Ember Moon versus Peyton Royce versus Nikki Cross versus Kairi Sane. Now, first of all, I got to talk about the entrances for this. Nikki Cross came out with a very remixed Sanity theme song, which I absolutely loved. It was a little bit more very high beat, high tempoed, and she actually incorporated a little bit of her laugh in there, so that's what made it even cooler. I literally fell in love with it. Kairi Sane looking just absolutely amazing. Great theme song. The fact of the matter that she, went out there and she looked again like a pirate. It's awesome. It's awesome. The one interesting thing I could say is the entrance with Peyton Royce. She looks absolutely stunning, radiant, just absolutely amazing. Peyton Royce, if you ever listen to this, please, for the love of God, marry me. But here's the interesting thing about it, is that Billie Kay was supposed to be in Peyton Royce's corner, but as Peyton Royce was coming out, Billie Kay kind of stopped her and couldn't really read what she was saying. I'm not really good at lip reading. But basically what ended up happening was Billie Kay basically stated to Peyton Royce, you got this. You don't need me at ringside. You're going to be on your own. And Billie Kay left. And then Peyton Royce kind of had that look of like, oh boy, where she had kind of had like a little nervous smile. She's thinking, oh boy, I'm coming out on my own. But her professionalism, oh my gosh, I loved it. It was almost like a nice little quick snap, and she went to being the confident Peyton Royce that we all came in to love. I was in shock that Billie Kay was not a part of this matchup, but it definitely made for a level playing field. Ember Moon, of course, having honestly, oh my gosh, she always has a great entrance. Her attire looks absolutely fabulous, and you can't deny the contacts. Oh my gosh, they're just absolutely amazing. And they were blue, so it's like, okay, you're trying to pander to me. So far it's working, Ember Moon. Oh, why must you do this to me? One thing that definitely a lot of people probably didn't realize was that this was actually in Ember Moon's hometown of Houston, Texas. So for a lot of us in the prediction deal, we were very skeptical about picking Ember Moon. A lot of people were actually more pro Peyton Royce or Nikki Cross. There were even people that were saying it was going to obviously be Kairi Sane. So I think that Ember Moon was probably the very lower person that people were predicting was probably going to win. But had we known it was in her hometown, I think a lot more people probably would have picked her. Matchup itself was great. As far as comparing to the other matches I've seen in NXT TakeOvers, it doesn't really quite match the Ember Moon and Asuka matches that have happened in the past. But it's definitely, if we took the Ember Moon and Asuka matches out, then this would definitely be match of the year for the NXT women. But this matchup itself was still very well done. Peyton Royce, Nikki Cross, Kairi Sane, Ember Moon, they all showcased a lot of great moments. Oh my gosh. The Kairi Sane hitting her elbow on both Peyton Royce and Nikki Cross was absolutely amazing. And then we saw that double eclipse move by Ember Moon to Nikki Cross and Peyton Royce. God dang it. Honestly, Nikki Cross and Peyton Royce, they deserve so much more after that. They both took, two wrestlers' finishers in like dual fashion. And in all honesty, I look at that and I think to myself, man, Peyton Royce took probably the worst of it out of both of them. In the end, we see Ember Moon picking up the victory and the NXT Women's Championship. Regal was about to present it to her, but then Asuka came in the ring, and she was allowed to present it to Ember Moon. It was a very symbolic passing of the torch, which was very much a very emotional moment. It created for a great moment. Ember Moon is your new NXT Women's Champion. Don't get me wrong, I really wanted to see Ember Moon as NXT Champion for a while, but this was kind of one of my main worries, was that it feels like the only way that Ember Moon was going to win the title is if Asuka wasn't going to be there. So I think they may have rushed this a little too much. A lot of people were definitely thinking that this was going to be Peyton Royce's crowning moment, where she becomes the NXT champion, and that her and Billie Kay, they do something great with the title. And honestly, that's what I wanted. I wanted to see Peyton Royce win the title and have that chase for Ember Moon just continue, maybe all the way up until WrestleMania. But that's not the case. We are given right away Ember Moon with the NXT title. I'm kind of against it. I'm not fully on board with it. I much rather would have had Ember Moon, again, chase the title for a little bit. Whether she's chasing off against, Nikki Cross or Peyton Royce, that'd be great. Again, the problem would have been with Kairi Sane winning would be probably the same deal, where it's like, well, since she's, in the same ethnicity as Asuka, then more than likely they're going to go with her. I don't know. I think that Kairi Sane, she still has a little bit of progress before she can reach the point that she's almost like the next Asuka. But she's definitely on the right track right now. So, in all honesty, with this matchup, again, it's great. It's awesome. I just wish that they would have gone a different direction. I'm going to give this matchup 4 out of 5 stars. Like I said, great moments. A lot of just great, absolutely great work by these 4 women. They should be very proud. I know they're very proud. We move on to the NXT Championship matchup, which featured Drew McIntyre defending against Andrade Cien Almas with Zelina Vega in his corner. Oh my gosh. If you have any doubt of Andrade's work and any doubt about how well he can go in the ring, you need to watch this matchup. This was absolutely amazing. This is definitely one of the top matches that I have seen, where Andrade Cien Almas looks like an absolute incredible superstar. Just everything that went down was just great. There were a couple points where Zelina Vega got involved. The first point was actually a funny moment where Zelina Vega tried to do a Hurricane Rana to Drew on the outside, but Drew just caught her, then picked her up, and then set her back on the apron. I thought that was just absolutely funny. It was like, wow, that's pretty crazy to see how it just almost looks like one fluid motion, to where she's almost there, and then it almost feels like they just hit a rewind button, and it's like, well, nope, not happening. Honestly, loved it. It was great. There was another moment where Andrade went out to the outside to grab the NXT title, and I guess there were a lot of people that actually didn't know what was going on in the ring, where Zelina Vega actually came in and hit a head scissors, planting Drew McIntyre's skull into the pavement. We also saw Andrade hit his hammerlock DDT on Drew McIntyre for a near 3 count, but a lot of people were actually in shock. They thought that was going to be the moment that Andrade becomes champion. But no, Drew kicked out. Drew hit the Claymore kick. But Zelina Vega had Andrade's foot on the rope, so the match continued. And the finish of the matchup was very, very gruesome because unfortunately Drew McIntyre suffered an injury from it. Andrade hit a top turnbuckle DDT, and unfortunately when he landed, I believe that somebody said that Drew McIntyre actually tore a bicep, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a lot of it was just one of those points where it definitely looked like Drew hit wrong. I looked at the footage and I even kind of went like cringeworthy, like, oof, that does not look good. It just was a bad landing. Andrade covers for the 1-2-3. Andrade Cien Almas winning the NXT Championship. In all honesty, I was in shock with this. This was one of those moments where I'm like, wow, they did it. They took the strap off of Drew almost, I don't want to say almost immediately after he won it, but they did a good job of building Drew up for the title matchup against, Bobby Roode, and then to have him win the title and then the next takeover have him lose it. It's really surreal how fast it happened, but honestly, it's one of those moments where I picked Drew. I thought he was going to retain, but I'm okay with this. In all honesty, they provided one of the best matches on the card. Storytelling was great. Zelina Vega definitely showed a lot of great, mic skills. Definitely bringing up a lot of heat for Andrade into the title matchup. Drew held his own. The matchup itself was just absolutely phenomenal. 4 stars out of 5. Just great. I think that this is one of the matches that would definitely go on both of their DVDs if they ever have like a best of matches from their careers. Nothing to be ashamed of. But you definitely do see that there was a little more extent to the injury for Drew because after the matchup, doctors came down. You saw the disappointment on Drew's face. It's heart-wrenching. It's just one of those things where it was like, oh man, this guy worked so hard to really rebuild himself, and now he's going to have to get surgery on his arm. It sucks. It really sucks. And you can definitely tell that when he's injured, he takes full ownership of it, but he also feels like a failure from that. And I've seen that so many times when he's doing interviews and he's doing a lot of promos where he talks about these injuries, but he also looks on the positive side where he says that he's going to come back stronger and better than ever, and that he's going to really do it for the fans. He is one of those guys who, ever since he went on in the independent scene, he's really connected with the fans in some of the most phenomenal ways possible. So honestly, Drew McIntyre, best of luck to you. Hopefully you come back stronger than ever. We miss you, man. You just put on one hell of a matchup against Andrade, and I'm looking forward to the rematch. All right, so let's talk about the main event, which was the War Games matchup. So for a lot of people that didn't know what happened with this War Games matchup, kind of the same premise, but also something different. 1, they decided it involves shark cages in this. 2, they did a deal where after 5 minutes, one full member of a team would come out. Then after those intervals, 3 minutes would come in, and then they would have, pinfalls and submissions would be completely illegal after that. And they even added the stipulation of having, escape being illegal. Basically, if you escape the cage, you forfeit your team for that matchup. I liked it. I liked that stipulation, and a lot of people are saying, why can't we do that for other cage matches? Well, you could definitely do that for certain stipulations if they have a purpose to it. I think that the reason why that they did that was the sole purpose of making sure that the Undisputed Era doesn't try anything funny. Match itself was good. I'm not going to say that this was my favorite War Games matchup. I definitely will say that this was probably a little bit lower on the card because there's a lot of things that went into this. Some positive notes about this. One, Killian Dane from Sanity was absolutely the guy that a lot of people really watched and think, wow, he's doing a lot of crazy stuff. He was the one that was bringing in the weapons. He locked the door, and he swallowed the key, which a lot of people are just looking at him thinking, oh, God, that never happens. That was never something that, would ever really amaze him. But it just goes to show you how so one-sided and one-minded Sanity is. They are just absolutely trying their best to show that they are not exactly the most normal people, but honestly, I'm okay with that. It was absolutely amazing just to see that. The match itself was definitely a spot fest, to say the least, which was one of the things that I kind of liked it, but at the same time, if you feel like that takes away from some of the wrestling in the matchup, that kind of hurts the match itself. I wanted to like this matchup. I really did. But I lost interest in it, and the problem was that they changed the rules so much. If they would have just done the deal where it's like, okay, after this amount of time, we'll let one person come in, and then another, and then another, and then another. Because after having all of these people just coming in, it's like, well, where's the suspense, really? Because when I was watching a lot of the other War Games, especially I think it was a triple threat matchup between, I want to say it was, one was NWO, one was WCW, and one was like Hart Foundation or something like that. I can't remember which one it was exactly, but it was basically a triple threat War Games match. And again, they did almost the same thing that they did with this one, but of course they had people coming in at separate intervals. So it's like one person came in here, and then another person came in here, then another person came here, and blah, 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 blah. They did it like that, which, it built the suspense, because it's like, okay, cool, we got another person coming in. Oh, we got some good match, got some good wrestling coming in here, it's great. But then, of course, you would have to finish probably like maybe 10 minutes later. With this matchup, after everybody came in, it just felt like they wanted to just drag this matchup and make it a little bit more like a Hell in the Cell match or a Steel Cage matchup. I don't know, it just didn't feel like a War Games matchup to me. They had a lot of good spots. I mean, the double Tower of Doom deal was amazing. And then there's just Adam Cole just standing in between the two rings, just being like, oh yeah, baby. The dive that Adam Cole and Roderick Strong took was absolutely amazing. But again, I really wish that they would have had it like a regular War Games matchup where they just had, one person coming in. But no, they brought in so much that it was like, well, now you got to make up for all this time that you could have been having. I felt like it just took away from the matchup. In the end, we saw Adam Cole pinning Eric Young. The Undisputed Era wins the War Games matchup. Like I said, this matchup itself was okay. It was good. It was good. It was just not connecting well with me. I think they just changed the rules way too much to the point where it doesn't feel like it was like the regular War Games. If they would have also brought in like Michael Buffer or somebody who kind of had like the voice of Michael Buffer, that would have been really cool. But that's a minor one. As far as how I would rate this, I would give this also a 4 stars out of 5. It was good, but I definitely felt like it was a big time spot fest more than anything. I just don't feel like the wrestling was really as important as it was. So that was why I had Aleister Black, versus Velveteen Dream as my match of the night, because I felt like the wrestling itself was focused on, the story was there. With War Games, I don't know if it really told the story that well. I think it just was a giant cluster of just randomness and spots. It just, I don't know. It really wasn't that memorable, to be fair. But, you win some, you lose some. So, all in all, this was actually a really good show. Like I said, Drew McIntyre versus Andrade Almas definitely surprised me. Fatal 4-way matchup for the women's title was great. like I said, Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream, match of the night. Definitely amazing. And War Games did not live up to my expectations, but it was still a good match. All right, so we go into Survivor Series. The pre-show had Elias Sampson defeating Matt Hardy, Kalisto losing to Enzo Amore. Oh, God. When I talk about Enzo Amore, I feel like I'm just going to gag in my... Oh, God. I feel like I'm going to gag. I might just puke something. And then we also see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeating the Dream Police. That was the only matchup that I got a chance to watch fully because we were trying to get things ready and everything like that. So it didn't really work out too well. So let's just get right into the Survivor Series. So I kind of had a feeling they were going to go down the direction of really having it really be tied up all the way till the main event, which was pretty obvious. But at the same time, Survivor Series itself was pretty good. So first matchup on the card was The Shield versus The New Day. Absolutely amazing. Just great. I loved how these 6 individuals are great as individual stars, but as teams, they created something that was certainly unforgettable. For the first time ever, we got to see The New Day versus The Shield on a Raw vs. SmackDown event. Definitely great. We got to see The New Day showcasing a lot of their classic moves. The Midnight Hour, double Midnight Hour, Big E was able to hit it on Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. That was an absolutely amazing moment. We saw Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose do their whole, knees with the whole like knee and then the Dirty Deeds deal. Just so many close falls here. It was just absolutely amazing. The fans were definitely winded after this matchup. The end was it was awe-inspiring. It was jaw-dropping. Kofi Kingston got taken up by Roman Reigns on the top turnbuckle, and they hit a triple powerbomb from the top, and Kofi Kingston just looked like he was dead. It was literally one of those moments where it's like, oh, geez, how is Kofi Kingston not, how is he just even breathing at this point? Dean Ambrose pins him 1, 2, 3. The Shield defeats The New Day, giving Raw a 1-0 lead. So, how I would rate this matchup? 4 out of 5. Are you kidding me? This was really good. Just an absolutely amazing matchup. Everything about it was just monumentally organic. Everything worked. Everything was great. I loved it. We move on to the first of 2 Survivor Series matchup, which featured the women's division. SmackDown's team led by Becky Lynch, having Carmella, Natalya, Naomi, and Tamina. And then we had Raw's team led by Alicia Fox with Sasha Banks, Bayley, Nia Jax, and Asuka. Matchup itself, this was a matchup that I think a lot of people didn't really care too much for. We saw Bayley pin Becky Lynch. Yeah, it was Bayley pins Becky Lynch. That's right. And that was where a lot of people were probably like, oh, wow. That was... My co-host Max definitely was really pissed off about that. We saw Bayley then get eliminated after that. Man, I gotta try to remember the order of eliminations. I'll see if I can even pull them up. I believe it was Alicia Fox that was eliminated next. Because I remember... No. I think it was Tamina, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember they had a face-off between Nia Jax and Tamina. It was one of those things I think a lot of people were hoping would be bigger than what they were given. But it didn't exactly go as well as some people probably wanted. Okay, here we go. So Becky Lynch was eliminated first. Bayley got eliminated by Tamina after the Superfly Splash. Oh, yeah, Nia Jax got eliminated by Countout. Oh, boy. That was... Yeah, that was one of those moments where it was like, oh, boy, you're basically just trying to piss off people, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Of course. Alicia Fox got eliminated, but... Well, here's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people didn't like this matchup. Alicia Fox got eliminated by Naomi with a roll-up, but what actually happened was I think that Alicia was supposed to kick out, and then Naomi locks in her submission maneuver to get the win, to basically get the victory, but Alicia Fox didn't get her shoulder up in time. So what happened was that Naomi grabbed Alicia Fox for the submission maneuver, but already by then she was already eliminated. It looked really bad. Sasha Banks would eliminate Naomi with the Banks statement. Carmella would get eliminated by Asuka after a spin kick. Oh God, it looked like Carmella's head got caved in after that. We saw Natalya eliminate Sasha Banks with a sharpshooter, and then we had a 2-on-1 deal where we saw Tamina and Natalya versus Asuka. Asuka would hit a flying cross armbar on Tamina. Tamina has no choice but to tap out. Then Asuka locking in the Asuka lock on Natalya. Boom. Done. She's gone. The matchup itself was decent. This was one of those matches I think a lot of people were kind of like, it was okay. So, how would I rate this? I think I would give this probably about... it was great seeing Asuka get, 3 eliminations in there. In all honesty, Team Raw should have been eliminated faster because then it could have built up a bit more for the Asuka deal. But, unfortunately, that's not what happened. So... I still wish that they could have gone better. I would give this one probably 2.5 stars. It's one of those matches that is probably easily forgettable. Granted, Asuka looked amazing. That was the main thing. And it just, I don't know. I'm trying to think of positive things to say about this. Other than Asuka eliminating 3 women, that was probably it. There was nothing really too much that was so eventful about it. I wanted to really like this matchup, but it's hard. It was rough. It was just a cluster, and it was just very hard to really get into this matchup. So, Raw's up 2-0. We then go into the next matchup, which is a champion versus champion match featuring The Miz taking on Baron Corbin. The one thing that I thought was probably going to happen was that The Miz was going to win because I saw he had Maurice at ringside, and I'm thinking, there's a dead giveaway. That's going to happen. Match itself was, again, decent. I will definitely say it was better than the women's elimination matchup. Corbin definitely seemed like he was more on his game than a lot of his other matches. This was definitely a better matchup that he's had. But considering he was working with The Miz, that's saying a lot. So, the match itself definitely had Miz trying everything that he's done, and then he incorporated the Daniel Bryan deal. Actually, that was how it basically ended, was that he went for the it kicks. Corbin countered, but then Corbin was caught in a corner. Miz hit the running Daniel Bryan leg drop kick. We saw Baron Corbin hit the end of days for the 1-2-3. Baron Corbin giving SmackDown its first victory of the night. Another thing I should have added on here was that Baron Corbin basically took out Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. I think he gave them both the end of days, which was awesome. The fact that I almost called him Michael McGillicuddy. Jeez, he's Curtis Axel. He came out with a Raw red neck brace. It's like, oh my God, dude, come on. How long are you going to nurse that neck injury, dude? You did so well. You're a former tag team champion. You're a former Intercontinental champion. What is going on with your career? Same thing could be said about Bo Dallas, former NXT champion. It's like, oh my gosh, what are you guys doing with your life? You're being a part of the Miztourage. Man, oh boy. So, again, the match itself was good. Giving it 3 stars out of 5. Definitely better than the women's matchup. Corbin definitely needed the victory to really solidify himself, and probably the U.S. title as the more dominant one. Would that be a fair way of putting it? I guess that would be fair. All right, so we go into the Bar versus the Usos. I was honestly expecting that this matchup would be just an absolutely instant classic. These guys would just tear the house down. That's not what happened. I think that people were just really getting either tired or they were getting restless. The Houston crowd definitely are just absolutely amazing. I will say this, that for Survivor Series and for Raw, they definitely stepped up their game where it wasn't, just complete dead silence. They tried to get really into it. With the Usos in the Bar, I don't know. I was expecting that this matchup would be just more intense and more crazy. But in all honesty, I can't say that I remember that many standout moments from this matchup. I mean, we saw the Usos and the Bar just going back and forth. It was just, I don't know. The match itself just felt very, something just didn't feel right. I don't know. I thought that it was going to be good, but there was really nothing too much that happened in it. There was the super kick party with Cesaro, and then we saw the Usos splash on Cesaro for the 1-2-3. The Usos tied up 2-2 for Raw and SmackDown. So, match itself was decent, but again, nothing too memorable about it. I get 3 stars out of 5. I was expecting more. These guys are like the top teams of their respective brands, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like this matchup was as special as what it could have been. All right, so we move on to Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte. Whew, boy, howdy, was this a white-hot stroke of genius. This matchup itself was just absolutely great. I loved it. I thought that the ring chemistry between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte was amazing. They definitely both have that kind of look of just anger where it's just like, it's like, why can't you just stay down? Why are you just being so difficult? Why are you doing this? Why are you blah, 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 blah? It works. It was absolutely amazing. We saw Charlotte showing a lot of great offense. Alexa Bliss, of course, just being the absolutely amazing wrestler that she is. We saw Alexa Bliss hit a DDT. Charlotte got her foot on the rope. We saw Charlotte try to go for a moonsault but missed. Just absolutely amazing stuff. Charlotte hitting her natural selection, but of course Alexa Bliss kicking out. We see, oh my gosh, they just absolutely tore the house down. They laid it all on the line. I loved this matchup. This was one of my personal favorites. Would I say this was match of the night? Oh man, I want to, but I think that this would come as second to the main event. The match itself was really good. I thought that, the ring chemistry between the two of them was completely organic. It felt natural. Everything flowed very well. The crowd got into it. In the end, we saw Charlotte lock in the figure 8, despite having her back just getting wrecked by Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss has to tap out, and Charlotte gives SmackDown a lead of 3-2. I think it was 3-2. That's right. Was really good. All right, so we move on to Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles, another champions versus champions match. Oh, I forgot to give a rating. Charlotte versus Alexa Bliss. I give this one definitely 4.5 stars. It was really good. I absolutely enjoyed it. If you love women's wrestling, if you really want to see what women's wrestling is all about, definitely go see this. Would this top Sasha Banks versus Charlotte? It would come close. I think it would be tied, if not maybe a bit better. That's just my opinion. So Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. All right. Matchup itself started off with Brock Lesnar, of course, getting the offense, suplexes, knee to the gut, just absolutely just really wrecking AJ, bottom line. Then AJ started getting some momentum. We saw him hitting quite a few different maneuvers. He even got the calf crusher locked in on Brock Lesnar, which a lot of people were just not expecting. A lot of people were not expecting AJ Styles to lock that in. And there were even some people who were like, oh, he might actually tap. He might actually tap. But then Brock Lesnar just wrecks AJ, just grabs his head and just starts pounding him on the mat. It was like a basketball bouncing off a court. It was just, oh my gosh. It was so sickening. But at the same time, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like a car wreck where you just want to close your eyes, but you still have like that one eye that's just peeking out saying like, I can't look away, but I have to look. Just, oh man, these guys were great. A phenomenal forearm on Brock Lesnar. Fortunately, Brock kicks out of that. AJ goes for another one. Beautiful, beautiful counter by Brock. Just catching him in midair. F5, 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar gets the victory and ties it up at 3 apiece for Raw and SmackDown. Oh, man, this was good. I would definitely give this matchup 3.5 out of 5. The only reason why is because I think that if everybody didn't know about them really protecting Brock Lesnar's F5, as well as them knowing that, them knowing that Brock was going to win, I think it would have made it a little more, I think it would be higher ranked up there. But the match itself was good. It was good. Brock and AJ definitely put on an 8 Insta Classic. But let's move on to the main event, which was Team Raw versus Team SmackDown in the traditional Survivor Series matchup. Of course, Team SmackDown led by Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Roode, and John Cena taking on Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, and Triple H. Mr. I got new hammer and nails, gonna put up the shelf because I'm a dad. That's a running joke between me and Max, but it's still one of those things that's funny. So, match itself ran a good amount of time. There was a lot that went down during this matchup where everybody wanted to see certain superstars clashing with each other. We got to see, Samoa Joe and John Cena, or Samoa Joe and Randy Orton, or Randy Orton and Finn Balor. I think we've got a little bit of Finn Balor and John Cena. I'm not 100% sure. Triple H and Bobby Roode. Oh my gosh, the Triple H and Bobby Roode deal was amazing. Triple H and Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura, of course, doing the whole "come on" to Triple H was amazing. Then Bobby Roode, of course, doing like the whole trying to get the glorious deal, and then Triple H hits a spine buster. He does the suck it. Bobby Roode hits a spine buster, and then he does his glorious deal. It was awesome. It was amazing. Then the fun stopped because we get Braun Strowman, who likes to kill everybody. And honestly, I was okay with it. So Braun Strowman eliminates Nakamura and Bobby Roode with power slams, respectively. Both of them get eliminated. Nakamura first and then Bobby Roode. Then we see Braun Strowman just basically get taken out by everybody on Team SmackDown. I think it was John Cena and Randy Orton. They did a double suplex, ate a double suplex. They had all of Team SmackDown basically lift up Braun and send him through an announce table. That's when the tide sort of changed a bit. John Cena got into the matchup, and we see John Cena hit an AA on Samoa Joe, and then hit a AA on Finn Balor. Then John Cena hits a second AA to Samoa Joe, eliminating him. Kurt Angle and John Cena get a little bit of a great deal in there, in which they're, doing like a face-to-face confrontation, and then John Cena and Kurt Angle had a really good back and forth deal between the two of them. But Kurt Angle hits the Angle Slam for a 2 count when Shane McMahon interferes. And then, out of nowhere, comes Finn Balor. Coup de grace on John Cena. Cena hits it with a second Angle Slam for the 1, 2, 3. Shocking everybody, including myself. I was not expecting John Cena to get eliminated that quickly, even. I would have thought that he would have stuck around for a little while longer. Randy Orton would eliminate Finn Balor with an RKO out of nowhere because of reasons. Then things really started escalating. We see Braun Strowman eventually make his way back But before that, we also got to see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens attack Shane McMahon, sending him through a table, and then Shane had a steel chair. He's just going after them. Braun Strowman eliminates Randy Orton with the power slam. And, of course, we see Shane's face of just like, oh, boy, what am I going to do here? Shane and Kurt Angle, they face off against each other. Great back and forth deal between the two of them. Kurt Angle hits the Angle Slam, knocks in the ankle lock, and it seems like Shane McMahon's about to tap out, but Triple H hits a pedigree on Kurt Angle, and then throws Shane McMahon on top of Kurt. 1, 2, 3. Kurt Angle's eliminated. And then we get to see something very surreal, something I think we haven't seen in years, and that's Triple H and Shane McMahon side by side. And they're basically just, it's one of those moments where I think Shane McMahon realizes, like, well, wait a minute, well, what's going on here? Is my brother-in-law actually helping me? And the face that Braun had, he is just like, he's like, what's going on here? I don't understand this. Neither did a lot of people. But then we see Triple H hit Shane McMahon with the pedigree for the 1, 2, 3. Team Raw is victorious. And we see, Braun Strowman and Triple H having their hands raised as the sole survivors. And Braun just does not take his eyes off of Triple H. And Triple H, of course, just being a cock. This is one of those things that Max kind of pointed out that was kind of funny. During the matchup, John Cena was acting like an excited 10-year-old. He's just like, oh man, we're going to get to do these matches and we're going to have fun, and it's just absolutely amazing. It was funny. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, for one night I actually think that John Cena is actually hilarious. With Triple H, he's just being this cocky, arrogant dick, or he's just basically saying to Braun, hey man, lighten up. We won. It doesn't matter what I did. Yeah, sure, I basically killed our team captain, but hey, we won. That's what matters. And then we get the most unforgettable moment, probably in all of Survivor Series history. Braun Strowman grabs Triple H by the throat. He pins him in a corner, and he's basically saying, if you ever backstab me, I will destroy you. And the most priceless moment was seeing Triple H's face. He is just dead scared. And you see him almost tearing up because it's like the fear is just so great that it's almost just swelling up in his face. Braun Strowman lets him go, and then Triple H tries to pedigree Braun Strowman, and then Braun's just like, nope, picks him up, power slams Triple H, not once, but twice, leaving Braun Strowman just being like the sole survivor. I don't care what the announcement says, Braun Strowman was the sole survivor of that matchup. So Braun Strowman just leaves, and Triple H just like, oh, frick, what did I just do? And we'll talk more about what happened on Monday Night Raw on Friday, you guys. So final grade for the tag team matchup itself, 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was great because you had a lot of great showcase of matches in which a lot of people are thinking, okay, I want this match now because that would be amazing. You saw some great eliminations. John Cena getting eliminated was one of those highlights of my night where it's like, oh wow, he got eliminated fast. I was expecting him to take a little bit more, but no, after 2 angle slams and a coup de grace, it was enough for him. Randy Orton looked good in that deal. Finn Balor and Samoa Joe looked great. Braun Strowman looked like an absolute beast, and we got to see the most unforgettable moment, which was Triple H turning on Raw and then turning on SmackDown and then getting his ass whooped by Braun Strowman. So, yeah, all in all, this has been one of the best Survivor Series in a long time. Matchups were great. Storylines were told. Just absolutely amazing. So, with that being said, I am Nate the Effing Great from The Game Changer. Of course, you can always follow me on Twitter at RealFNGame, and also give us a like on the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/changingupthegame. Of course, you guys, coming up this week, especially on Friday, we are going to have not one, but 2 podcasts for you. We're going to have the Game Changer podcast, in which we will have AJ and Max talking with me about Raw and SmackDown, as well as some other wrestling news this past week, but also myself and Victory Bell, we will be talking about the Justice League and giving our review on that. So tune into that on Friday. But in the meantime, guys, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your turkey. Enjoy everything. It's just a really great holiday. Just be thankful for everything that you have. So with that, I'm going to head out, and I will see you guys on the Friday for the new episode. Bye-bye.